Fading future, shattered dreams. End of times ain't what it seems.
Hello, friends. It's Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today is January 8th, 2026. I can't do my six, I guess. 2026. Welcome to this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. The feds are killing people. They killed that woman yesterday. I don't know if they killed him. They shot him. Breaking as they say. ICE has shot 2 individuals in Portland. And so looks like it's all sorting out to be that op we need for civil unrest, division, and chaos here in America. We got that to cover. We'll go back over the ICE shooting yesterday a little bit in Minnesota. Is that how they say it with that accent? All of the fallout. Of course, back the blue or the feds will kill you. Yeah. We got a congressman here. We got a congressman on old Newsmax, the great constitutionalist channel that loves the wars. We'll play that clip where this congressman says that disobeying feds means you can be killed. Obey, and you will get to keep your life. We'll play that clip. It's getting hairy fast. It is getting hairy fast out there. So all of that to cover for you today. More fraud investigation into Minnesota. All of that fallout. What else do we got today for you? Well, we've got, looks like we're breaking up with all these international organizations. Well, America did. Trump says, I don't need international law. So I guess we really are in a new world order, a new era. As we reported yesterday, the United States has withdrawn from 66 organizations which serve no benefit to America. 35 NGOs and 31 official UN organizations. Take another look at that. Take another look at that today. Then we have, well, it turns out maybe there is a Congress. Congress did vote today on the War Powers Resolution. Of course, Vice President Vance correctly says it's unconstitutional. It doesn't mean nothing. Well, they've just been using it as an excuse to kill people all over the world, and many Americans as well, for many years. Yeah, they're just joking about all that. We got geopolitical news. Iran is on fire today. More fallout of Venezuela. Who's next on the imperial hit list? Yeah, the U.S. Senate passes Venezuela War Powers Resolution. So at least they're acting like they're following the Constitution, which we know they did not. It's just a power struggle there. We'll cover that, the fallout of that. Trump's offering Greenland cash. And so again, it's going to be either take the silver or the lead. It's hardcore gangsters for capitalism, i.e. Smedley Butler, i.e. war is a racket. Massive attacks being reported on Ukraine by Russia. Reports they launched an Orezhnik, the hypersonic missile. And so that's not looking good. Iran's on fire. They're in protests all over Iran right now. Looks like in large part provocateured by the West, but again, government's a organized crime syndicate. Same in Iran, same in America, same everywhere. Government, you see. So I do believe that the Iranian people have legitimate beefs with their tyrannical government. None of our business, but we make it our business here in America as police of the world, you see. Trump threatening, the irony is thick. The irony and hypocrisy, which America loves, is thick today. Trump says U.S. will strike Iran very hard and make them pay hell if they kill any protesters. Meanwhile, protesters in America are being gunned down by federal agents. Pay no attention to that. No one's coming to save you here in America. And Aardvark genocide news, as per usual, they killed quite a few Palestinians in the last 24 hours here, more than usual. And we have Bibi giving a interview to Dr. Phil where he says that 1,000 aardvarks dying on October 7th is equivalent to about 40,000 Americans. So I guess that's 40-to-1 ratio there. So even Palestinians have a higher ratio than Americans, according to our shadow president, Bibi there. So everybody will be happy to note that. We got that clip. We'll play it for you. What else? Just the same old updates on all these tyrants and their crimes against humanity, genocide, and war crimes, all on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. Let's get to On This Day in History. On this day in history of January 8th, going back to the year 1598, they were noticing, I know it's horrific, in Italy, the aardvarks are expelled. They were noticing in 1598, something ain't right, get out of here. In 1675, on this day, we saw the first American commercial corporation chartered, the New York Fishing Company. In 1790, on this day, we saw George Washington, of course, America's first official president, deliver the first State of the Union address. 1790 on this day. 1798 on this day, we saw the 11th Amendment ratified, judicial powers construed. The 11th Amendment ratified on this day, 1798. 1815 on this day, we saw the Battle of New Orleans. From the War of 1812. The war had ended on December 24th, 1814, but no one told the combatants. And that resulted in the Battle of New Orleans. 3 weeks later, because nobody told them the war was over. 1815, Battle of New Orleans on this day. In 1835, on this day, U.S. national debt reaches zero for the first and only time in history. Pretty funny, right? And to put that in a little bit more perspective for us, I thought I had it pulled up, and I got too many screens going on. So, 1835, U.S. national debt reaches zero. To put that in perspective, today, U.S. national debt is growing by $1 million every 15 seconds, $6 billion increase every day. Not sustainable. Not sustainable in one little bit. All right, where are we at here? In 1894, on this day, Columbus World's Fair in Chicago, destroyed by fire on this day, 1894. 1918, on this day, then President Woodrow Wilson outlines his 14 points for peace after World War I. And we saw how that worked out. In 1940, on this day, Britain's first World War II rationing begins, including rationing of bacon, butter, and sugar. In 1964, on this day, then President Lyndon Baines Johnson declares war on poverty, subsequently making everyone more poor. And we see how that worked out. In 1974, on this day, the price of gold hits a record of $126.50 an ounce, and the price of silver hits a record, 1974, at $3.40 per ounce in New York. And to give you a little perspective, those are 19. Let me just pull this up so we give you the most current numbers. That's 1974 gold at $126.50, silver at $3.40, 1964. Today, January 8th, 2026, silver is at $75.81, and it's fluctuating a little bit there as it's live trading overseas. And then gold, $4,458, and it's fluctuating a little bit there as it's trading live. To give you a perspective on how much our currency's been debased and devalued from 1974. Take a look at those precious metal prices. In 1992, on this day, George H.W. Bush falls ill and vomits on Japanese Prime Minister's lap. Many say that George Bush actually died. George H.W. Bush actually died there. I don't know. That's an internet conspiracy, but take a look at that. In 1998, on this day, the Unabomber suspect, Ted Kaczynski, asked to act as his own lawyer. I don't blame him. In 2002, on this day, No Child Left Behind Act was signed into law by George W. Bush, subsequently leaving every child behind. And in 2021, on this day, again, this is all fake. It was sheep dipping to give Trump some street cred, all part of the bigger agenda. But on this day in 2021, Twitter bans U.S. President Donald Trump permanently due to the risk of further incitement of violence. Also on this day, Pelosi demands Trump resign. After January 6th. And still, no one in the government that rigged up this whole affair, or any feds, no one has gotten in trouble for it. For the charade, no one is January 6th. Yes, breaking. Okay, let's where's our segue? This is broke, or well, I guess we'll play this. Here's a clip with not many details about ICE shooting 2 people in Oregon. Again, breaking right before we came on the air with you today. This is being reported a few hours ago.
Federal sources that tell ABC News that federal agents shot 2 people here in Portland a short time ago, possibly around 2:30. Circumstances are unclear, but the FBI is responding. They are investigating. We're told the agents who shot these individuals are with U.S. Customs and Border Protection, not ICE. Once again, FBI will be investigating that. We're expecting a statement from the FBI soon, as well as statements from our local leaders here as soon as City Council.
Okay, they're with, that report says they're with the Border Patrol, whatever, the feds. The feds. Any more details about it? Let's see. Man, woman shot by federal agents in Portland, police say. This happened shortly before 2:30 this afternoon, local time, Pacific, in Portland, Oregon. Portland police responded to a call shortly before 2:30 p.m. local time and found a man and woman with apparent gunshot wounds. According to the police department, officers confirmed that federal agents had been involved in the shooting. But hey, the FBI is going to investigate them and find no wrongdoing, and so we have nothing to worry about, you see. It's perfectly fine and reasonable. We'll keep tracking that story. Again, yesterday, Renee Good was killed by the feds. Here's a memorial that was put up for her there. And again, yeah, don't go mess with law enforcement operations. They'll kill you. It's getting serious. Don't threaten them. Don't get in their way. They'll kill you. I feel like this woman, quote, liberal activist by all accounts, was set up. A useful idiot, a patsy, and yeah, she paid the ultimate price in this tragic event with her life, protesting ICE there in Minnesota. Back to the Portland incident that just happened. Here's a statement from the Portland mayor, Keith Wilson. The statement reads, just one day after the horrific violence in Minnesota at the hands of federal agents, our community here in Portland is now grappling with another, deeply troubling incident. Earlier this afternoon, 2 people were shot and injured by federal agents in the Hazelwood neighborhood. We cannot sit by while constitutional protections erode and bloodshed mounts. Portland is not a training ground for militarized agents, and the full force threatened by the administration has deadly consequences. As mayor, I call on ICE to end all operations in Portland until a full investigation can be completed. Well, the FBI is already investigating. You have nothing to worry about. Right. Federal militarization undermines effective community-based public safety, and it runs counter to the values that define our region. I will use every legal and legislative tool available to protect our residents' civil and human rights. Glad they held that same attitude during, a medical emergency. So hypocrisy, irony and hypocrisy on both sides. So sickening. These people are they don't care. None of these politicians give a damn, but yet they get the true believers, they radicalize them and turn them into patsies to be targets for the feds, you see. And that's where we're at here now. So disingenuous. It's truly disgusting. Mayor Keith Wilson went on to say, I call on every Portlander to represent our values and to show up with calm and purpose during this difficult time. Portland does not respond to violence with violence. We respond with clarity, unity, and a commitment to justice. We must stand together to protect Portland. The city of Portland will continue to provide updates as they become available. We are grateful to our first responders for their support of the victims. Keep listening to these politicians. They're going to get you killed. They're going to get you killed. Here's the Fed straight up saying it. This is Republican Congressman Wesley Hunt out of Texas. Here's here he is on Newsmax saying that disobeying feds means you can be killed. Obey and you will get to keep your life. So do what the feds say or die, essentially. Here's the clip.
Texas Congressman Wesley Hunt, also veteran himself. So, Congressman, terrible that an American citizen lost their life. However, we now just found out from Secretary Kristi Noem that this person apparently had been chasing these ICE agents, harassing them all morning.
The bottom line is this: when a federal officer gives you instructions, you abide by them, and then you get to keep your life. And it is clear that she tried to use her vehicle as a weapon, mow over an ICE agent, and now she is dead. And her death is tragic, but at the end of the day, it was completely avoidable if she would have simply followed the commands of the ICE agents. But what really is more disturbing to me is Governor Walz's comments about using the National Guard to keep the federal government ICE agents out of his state. He has now gone full Jefferson Davis, and that's what I would call civil war. This is a problem. The left always does this. They always clamor for more violence. They always clamor for more rioting. Many opposites, they've already burned to the ground. At the end of the day, the violence must stop. We must respect law enforcement, respect this president that said, I am going to clamp down on illegal immigration, and Minneapolis has become a cesspool.
Citizen lost their life. However, we now just found out from Secretary Kristi Noem that this person apparently had been chasing these ICE agents, harassing them all morning.
The bottom line is this: when a federal officer gives you instructions, you abide by them, and then you get to keep your life. And it is.
You abide by. You better abide, or they will kill you. Here's the White House in regards to the shooting yesterday. Bobblehead press secretary lady.
That took place in Minnesota yesterday occurred as a result of a larger, sinister, left-wing movement that has spread across our country, where our brave men and women of federal law enforcement are under organized attack. Right now, immigration and customs enforcement officers are facing a 1,200% increase in assaults, a 3,200% increase in vehicle rammings, and an 8,000% increase in death threats. ICE agents are faithfully enforcing federal law to protect the safety of the American people by removing criminal illegal aliens from our country, which is exactly.
They're not, though. There is no mass deportations. They failed. We got those numbers from Department of Homeland Security. A shout out to, I see Stuart Webb there in the audience, the old Weaponized News partner. One of these days we're going to get him back on the show for an old reunion. Shout out to Stuart Webb, the Webb Report on the YouTube there. Yeah, everybody bow down to Ice Barbie, Newsmax. Yeah, or die. And so that's America. That's the Constitution. That's the rule of law now. You damn left-wing terrorists. Here's Ice Barbie. Since she's so popular, this is what she had to say about it. Well, yeah, I see Pam is making some good points there. They don't care. They say the vehicle was weaponized and was trying to kill that officer, and that's their story, and they're sticking to it. And the feds are going to investigate and find no wrongdoing. As we already know, they can't be wrong because they're the feds, right?
The Trump administration is using every single tool that we have to protect the American people. Sanctuary policies, whether they're here in New York City, whether they're in California, Illinois, or Minneapolis. If you are a criminal illegal alien, we are coming to get you. We will arrest you. We will bring justice, and we will also bring safety to the American people. We are warning anyone, if you think you can harm an individual, a citizen of the United States, or a law enforcement officer, we will find you and bring you to justice. If you lay a finger on one of our officers.
But the feds just killed an American citizen. I don't know if these other ones were even Americans in Portland. Huh? Yeah. Irony and hypocrisy screaming from these maniacs calling themselves your federal government. I stand with ICE. You have to. You have to stand with ICE or you're a damn domestic terrorist and you'll be killed. Here's the White House. Stand with ICE. There you go. Again, you follow these politicians. You follow Trump on J6, you got set up like a patsy. You follow freaking Vance or whatever, Walsh, any of these other jokers on the left wing, out of the Democrat side, you're going to get set up and be a patsy, and you may well die. Stop listening to these damn politicians. Damn, man. Stop letting them radicalize you for their ends. You're the patsy. They're laughing. She was murdered, her family says. Renee Nicole Good, of course, thumbnail. It was a white girl. They would have liked it to be, they would have liked it to be a minority. That would have been good for left-wingers to foment dissent. But it was a white girl, white liberal, and she was radicalized by listening to these politicians and wound up dead for it, you see. And so horrific tragedy there now, setting the stage for mass unrest. There will be more. Let's play it again. Here's just a 5-second clip of it. You can find the whole clip, but you can clearly see that this was a point blank execution, essentially. So no mass deportations, just ICE shooting an American citizen. Here it is again.
No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking God! No! Shame! Shame!
So at least you could say maybe he was halfway in front of the vehicle. He easily stepped aside, right? And literally point blank. I mean, you could slow it down. There's clips of it in slow-mo. You'd see right here, first shot, he's like, maybe you could say in front of it, but then the other two, he's clearly out of harm's danger and continues to fire point blank in the head. It's an execution. I believe this whole thing was set up by the government, and that's what you get. And hey, we're consistent here at Weaponized News. We spoke out against the feds when they killed Lloyd Finnegan. Remember the old when they did the Bundy Ranch Oregon deal, and the feds pulled him over in Oregon and executed him. Almost the same, a little bit different than this situation, but about the same. And so feds execute, and we've been against Ruby Ridge and against Waco. And so anytime the feds are killing Americans, we're against it. And this is a very sketchy, I'm saying the feds set this whole thing up. They want this destabilization program. Don't be a patsy. Don't be a dupe and a fool and get caught up in this. Here's Jimmy Kimmel pushes the narrative that President Trump is ordering ICE to kill Americans.
They're trying, I know what they're doing. They're trying out a new slogan. Donald J. Trump is going to kill you. It's pretty good, right?
That's pretty damn provocative. You know what I mean? So if it's going to get worse, it feels like here now. It's going to get worse. The paper trail will tell. Allegedly, the Department of Homeland Security is doing big fraud investigations. DHS, in conjunction with other federal agencies, are gathering mountains of evidence of unchecked fraud that took place in Minnesota. Every bit of wrongdoing is documented and will be used to extract justice. They say they're coming after California next. Not holding my breath. Blondie Bondi, head of DOJ, lost the Epstein files. She put out a statement in regards to Minnesota saying peacefully protesting is a sacred American right protected by the First Amendment. Obstructing, impeding, or attacking federal law enforcement is a federal crime. So is damaging federal property. If you cross the red line, you will be arrested and prosecuted do not test our resolve, or you may just be executed. She left that part out. Here's old Tim Walz. Let's hear what he had to say today. Says there is no verifiable evidence that any of this is making America safer. Allegedly, DHS is getting all the bad guys, all the bad illegal aliens who broke the law again.
I've not spoken to the president. I would ask him, first of all, the goal here is to make America safe, is what he said. There is no verifiable evidence that any of this is making America safer.
The goal is to keep us divided, and they're doing a damn good job at it. There's more from Walz, as they're threatening him with arrest now as well.
They shared a message about the reckless ICE mobilization is not keeping us safe and led to the tragedy that the world witnessed once again.
Here's old, remember this joker? I think he was a congressman. Now he's attorney general of Minnesota. And this guy's like all over the place. Let's take a listen to Keith Ellison, this character.
General Kristi Noem said yesterday that this woman, this 37-year-old woman, Renee Nicole Good, mother of 3, had been, in her words, in Kristi Noem's words, stalking and impeding the officers' work all throughout the day. Has your investigation shown any of that to be true?
No. It is perfectly legal to observe the apparatus of government, which ICE is. Yes, I will tell you that there are Minnesotans who are using telephones in their eyes and video cameras to observe the movement of ICE because they're concerned that ICE is operating as a paramilitary force, persecuting and targeting people based on racial assumptions and citizenship assumptions. But that's First Amendment stuff. That's people's right to move freely in a free country.
Scream First Amendment as they shoot you in the face. How's that working out for you? Here's Vance. The Trump administration will create a new assistant attorney general position who will have nationwide jurisdiction over the issue of fraud. So how is this going to work? How's this going to work? Here's the announcement. States' rights, 10th Amendment. Yeah, who cares? We're constitutionalists, right? Right.
Parents struggling to afford childcare in the United States of America, there are programs that we have to make it easier for your kids to get in daycare, for your kids to get in preschool. Those programs should go to American citizens, not be defrauded by Somali immigrants and others. Make it hard for you to get the access to the resources you need. But number 2, making it easier for people who shouldn't even be in this country to fleece the United States and our taxpayers to begin with. We have actually activated a major interagency task force to make it possible to get to the heart of this fraud. We have Department of Agriculture resources that are focused on SNAP fraud so that people who need food benefits can get them, but illegal aliens and other fraudsters don't. We have over 1,500 subpoenas that the Department of Justice has issued to get to the heart of the fraud ring. We've done almost 100 indictments, mostly Somali immigrants, but also a few others. And of course, we're looking in with broad investigatory authority to a number of the instances of wrongdoing that we've seen in Minneapolis. But we also want to expand this. We know that the fraud isn't just happening in Minneapolis, it's also happening in states like Ohio. It's happening in states like California. And so what we're doing in order to help coordinate this remarkable interagency effort from the Trump administration, but also to make sure that we prosecute the bad guys and do it as swiftly and efficiently as possible, is we are creating a new Assistant Attorney General position who will have nationwide jurisdiction over the issue of fraud. Now, of course, that person's efforts will start and focus primarily.
There you go, plutonium. The government is going to investigate itself. So we have nothing to worry about, you see. Doesn't the buck? I mean, Congress is the one that appropriates the funding, so maybe Congress. Maybe you should start there. Oh, they don't care. Oh, okay. But some third world Somali is the problem. I see. I see. Here's Treasury Secretary Bissett tracking down fraud. Don't give a damn about fraud. This is all political. The entire system in and of itself is a fraud. Again, back to, if Trump was a true populist president as he represents himself, he'd go arrest all these banks and arrest the Federal Reserve. He'd arrest all the big banks, Citi, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, and he'd go arrest the Federal Reserve and shut it down. That doesn't happen because they're full of shit.
Criminal investigations, and these men and women, they are cool cats. They can take apart a balance sheet and they can knock down a door and arrest someone. Like, they go out on patrols, they can make arrests. It's this very interesting hybrid force. About 25.
That's what we love. Accountants with guns running around out there. That's what we needed. And this guy eats it up. So Trump went on with neocon, hate this guy, Hugh Hewitt, piece of garbage, accent like an intellectual. He's a neocon, piece of garbage. Anyway, here's a clip from that. I want to try to define the Trump doctrine. Well, it's the Don Roe doctrine, right? That's what they've declared. Let's see what old neocon Hugh Hewitt had to say in an interview with Trump earlier today.
I want to try and define the Trump doctrine, Mr. President. I've been trying to do it on the air. It's down to this: don't kill or threaten Americans or our property or American security in general, or we will hit you very, very hard. Is that succinct?
And included in there is don't send drugs and don't send things that are going to kill our people. But you can sort of make the statement that you've indirectly said that. But it's a pretty direct statement. Don't send drugs into our country.
Is he talking to the CIA? Oh, no, he's talking to made-up drug cartels. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, don't do drugs, kids. Don't send them into this country. 17 Republicans defy Speaker Johnson and vote against the Republicans there in the House of Representatives. And they've passed a 3-year extension of BAT-era Obamacare subsidies. And so there's fraud everywhere. Look right at your Congress. Who's signing off on all this? Your Congress? I know civics is hard in a conspiracy, but if we're still following allegedly how the system is supposed to work, Congress are the ones appropriating the funding to all of the fraud. And they keep the Obamacare fraud going there now in the Congress, you see. So that's where all your criminals are, right there. So the feds are going to investigate the CIA and the Congress? Not holding my breath on that one. Not holding my breath. Where are we at here now? We're at the 40-minute mark. We're in as we continue to report here from all sides now, we're in a new world order. I guess there is no international law as we're like this close to being out of the UN. I don't see how we get out, though, because we need to be on that Security Council to veto all the genocides. So I think we got to stay in the UN, honestly, at this point. Because we got to veto everybody, the rest of the world saying, hey, they're doing genocide. And we say, nah, who cares? You know what I mean? So here's a statement today or yesterday evening from Trump. President Trump declared yesterday evening that his power as commander-in-chief is constrained only by his own morality, brushing aside international law and other checks on his ability to use military might to strike, invade, or coerce nations around the world. They don't even mention the U.S. Constitution here in this article out of the failing New York Times. And so that's good of them. Asked in a wide-ranging interview with the failing New York Times if there were any limitations on his global powers, Mr. Trump said, yeah, there's only one, my own morality, which he has none of, so none, right? My own mind. It's the only thing that can stop me. I don't need international law. He added, I'm not looking to hurt people. Oh, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Constitution, rule of law, nobody's above the law. Yeah, the government don't give a damn about any of that. You see, and they never have. And they never have. Are we seeing the end of the international rules-based international order? It appears that we may be seeing the end of it here now. German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier says the United States is destroying world order. There is also indeed the break in values of our most important partner, the United States, which helped build this order and, above all, significantly shaped it over the decades. We're beyond the stage in which we only complain about the lack of respect for international law or the erosion of the international order. Both disrespect and erosion are far advanced, he said. Today, it is about preventing the world from turning into a den of thieves. A little bit late on that one, old German president, in which the most unscrupulous take what they want. Regions and whole countries are treated like property of a few great powers. That's what they're doing now. And even medium-sized states are pushed to the margins of history, while smaller and weaker states are left entirely without protection. E-leader says, who is this? This was Macron. France, the hell is he even? I get confused about all these guys. I think he's prime minister, right? Because they got presidents, prime ministers. Anyway, everybody knows Macron, right? And so Macron said that Trump is destroying world order. So Europe seems pretty much in agreement on that. And why are they saying all this? Well, because America's backing out of all these international institutions. The White House, that we reported on it yesterday, but a little bit more about it today here now. No more wasting taxpayer dollars on globalist agendas. This is the White House. The United States will leave 66 total, 35 non-UN, that's NGOs, and 31 UN organizations that no longer serve the best interest of the country. And here's a bunch of them. The United States is withdrawn from 66 organizations which serve no benefit to America. That was a presidential memorandum issued yesterday by Trump. We covered it. And so backing away from these international organizations is causing a big fray in the international order. And so organizations from which the United States shall withdraw, non-United Nations organizations, 24/7 carbon-free energy compact. I'm agreeing with that one. And you could see them all. I'm not going to read them all. Global Counterterrorism Forum. International Global PAN, right? And so there's the NGOs, and where are the, here's the UN, actual UN. And you can see all these different UN outfits that the United States is now stepping away from. This memorandum is not intended to and does not create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law or in equity by any party against the United States, its departments, agencies, or entities, its officers, employees, or agents, or any other person. So we're out of all these. Who even knew, right? Just the web of globalization is quite a thing. So we're unwinding that a little bit here now. But again, it's executive order, and the next, internationalist, globalist, whatever you want to call them, minded president can simply void this executive order, issue a new one, saying we're right back in, right? And so I guess it's good for Trump's term. The Global Forum on Migration and Development waged a globalist pressure campaign aimed at eroding American sovereignty to promote an international right to migration. President Trump has halted the assault on our borders. The United States is withdrawing from the Global Forum on Migration and Development. And that's the State Department. That's your U.S. Department of State using this language. And so then my next question, go arrest everybody at the Global Forum on Migration. Amy Pope, the head, and everybody else involved all along the way. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. Big globalism talk here now. U.S. Department of Labor. They say it's right from your federal government. Do what they say or die. Globalism has failed. Americanism will prevail. Strong rhetoric coming out of the federal government there against globalization. Where are we at here? Well, meme of the day. Department of Homeland Security was mopping up the blood. Yesterday, they were busy there in Minnesota. Didn't find the time to give us a meme of the day. But today, they found time, and we do appreciate it. It is our taxpayer money funding all of this propaganda. Here's a meme of the day from Department of Homeland Security. Justice starts with you. Join.justice.gov. It's the best they could do today. Still mopping up blood in Minnesota and Oregon, apparently. We're seeing a coordinated campaign of violence against our law enforcement. We kind of already heard that talking point, right? I'll spare you the clip. This is another Fed apologist there on the War Channel, Fox News. I'll spare you the clip there. So you'll like this one. If Ruckus is out there listening in the audience, he'll like this. The same, see, they're giving, here's an excuse why that Fed shot that lady in the head yesterday. The same ICE officer attacked yesterday was dragged in June by a child sex predator trying to evade an immigration enforcement arrest. This is the part that Ruckus should enjoy. The officer, he suffered severe injuries and required 33 stitches. This is right from the Department of Homeland Security. He required 33 stitches. You think he was not fit for duty if he is that trigger happy and ready to shoot people in the head? Seems like he wasn't over this attack on him in June. Just saying. ICE officers put their lives on the line every day to defend American communities. Indeed, but was he even fit for duty? Here now, having to get 33 stitches in June after he was allegedly attacked and dragged by a vehicle. Car attacks on our brave ICE officers and agents are up over 3,200% since last year. ICE claims. Attacks on ICE are up over 1,300%. Violent rhetoric and radical left sanctuary city policies only embolden these dangerous actions, putting our ICE officers and agents at great risk and undermining public safety. Like I said, you listen to these politicians and let them radicalize you, they're going to get you killed. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And again, flat out, Trump should be impeached for failing to carry out mass deportations. Technocracy Vice President Vance told us I'm going with his number. Last number he threw out there, 30 million illegal aliens, probably even more than that. And these are the numbers after 1 year. The Trump administration claiming, I don't even believe these numbers. I think they're overstated. They're claiming that they've deported 650,000 out of 300 million, or 30 million, excuse me. 30 million per Vance, like a month ago now, probably, when he said that. And Ice Barbie today, here's the clip. And so they failed. Trump needs to be impeached for failing to carry out mass deportations.
Also, thanks to President Trump, we have 2.6 million people who have left our country who shouldn't have been here in the first place. They were here illegally, and over 650,000 of them were arrested, detained, and deported back to their home countries. 2 million of them left voluntarily, recognizing this was their opportunity to go home and come back someday the right way so they have a chance to enjoy the American dream. Also, thanks to President
2 million, they're just making up numbers. So, according to Homeland Security today, Ice Barbie, 2.6 million illegals have been deported. But the problem there is 2 million, she's claiming, have self-deported. I'm not buying it. Any way you look at it, we'll say all their numbers are legit. Still 2.6 after 1 year with 2 million self-deporting. They've failed. They're not doing. And again, none of the puppet masters, Mayorkas, the heads of these NGOs, the heads of the nonprofits, nobody's in trouble. Amy Pope, why are none of these marionettes pulling the strings on this illegal alien human trafficking operation? Nobody's in trouble. Joe Blow, illegal alien drug dealer. Yeah, arrest them, get them out of here. But that Joe Blow, evil, bad drug dealer, raper, whatever, murderer, they're bad, get them out of here. But who allowed them to even be here in the first place? There's a giant conspiracy of open border, and no one that allowed in any position of authority that allowed it and orchestrated the whole thing has been held to account. And until that happens, I can't take anything these people say seriously. It's all smoke and mirrors, balkanization, divide and conquer strategy, keeping us fighting amongst ourselves. It's the Republicans, it's the Democrats, it's the feds, it's the state cops. No, it's the entire freaking government against us, the 99.9%. Maybe someday, some way, somehow. I seriously doubt it, because the social engineering and brainwashing in this country is so strong that it's just too damn fun to fight with your neighbor rather than look at the actual cause of most of our problems, which is government in and of itself, regardless of what freaking party you want to slap on it. Operation Salvo has been launched by the Department of Homeland Security there into New York City. Let's watch the announcement by Ice Barbie today. As everybody's up in arms about the Democratic Socialist Ma'am Danny. Looks fake as hell to me. Anyhow, Operation Salvo here.
Operation Salvo is just the beginning of a broader and a much more sustained effort to go after not only transnational criminal organizations and networks, but also illegal criminal aliens throughout the country. We are on offense. The Trump administration is using every single tool that we have to protect the American people. Sanctuary policies, whether they're here in New York City, whether they're in California, Illinois, or Minneapolis, if you are a criminal illegal alien, we are coming to get you. We will arrest you. We will bring justice.
Isn't it? They keep on with the whole canard of a criminal illegal alien. If you're in this country and not on legal status, you're breaking the law, immigration law. You're a criminal. But we continue to blur that line. They have to break our immigration law and then come and break another law, and then you could be considered a criminal. That's where we're at here now. That's where we're at here. Well, they say Operation Salvo, who knows how much that costs taxpayers. They arrested 54 people in New York. Here's Ice Barbie more on Operation Salvo. Again, where the hell? I guess they're sanctuary. I don't know. Where are and why? Okay, so we have total failure at the local law enforcement level. These criminal gangs are just running rampant, right? It's road warrior anarchy is what they're telling us. And so the feds have to come in and arrest all the bad guys. Where the hell are all the local, city, county, state? Where are all these law enforcements? They've all failed so spectacularly that only the feds can come in and save us. Why is no one in local, city, county, state government held accountable for these failures? If the story, the stories don't jive here now, what they're telling us for all this federal government tyranny.
Ago, 2 criminal illegal aliens attacked an off-duty Customs and Border Protection agent and his friend while they were sitting on a rock in a park after hours enjoying the evening together. These 2 criminals came and attempted to rob them, and it ended up where they bravely fought back. This officer defended himself and his friend, but not before being shot in the face and in the arm by one of these criminals. Immediately after, the men and women of the Homeland Security investigations worked with NYPD, leading to the arrest of that gunman in just 2 hours. Within 28 hours, the second assailant was arrested as well, and those individuals have been brought to justice. But those individuals would have never been in this country if they hadn't been allowed in by the Biden administration when they ignored our federal laws and allowed them to come in.
Again, why is Mayorkas not in trouble? And down the line, because it took a lot of people involved in the conspiracy of open borders to let it get to this point. So all of your justice rings hollow there, Ice Barbie feds. Sorry to say. ICE targets Home Depot in Phoenix. So good luck trying to get some illegal alien day labor out of the Home Depot parking lots in Phoenix, Arizona. All right, with that, we got one more. Yeah, let's take our live commercial break right now. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. We appreciate everybody's support. Get yourself some stickers over there. We have the holograph sticker. the white background sticker and the clear background sticker. Put it on your laptop, your bumper, your guitar, your work locker, your hard hat, your Cybertruck. Help spread the message about Weaponized News, reporting 5 days a week here for you, providing independent reporting and analysis like no one else on the interwebs. Weaponizednews.com. In the description below this video is the store link. Check out our store. We got a lot of merchandise over there, custom t-shirts with a Weaponized News logo on it. We have baby gear. We have pet ID tags for your dogs, cats, and other pets. There's a few books over there as well. Take a look at the store, or just give us a donation if you don't want to patron our store. Just give us a donation. Go to weaponizednews.com. There's a donation button right there on the front. Buy me a coffee, Cash App, and Bitcoin wallet addresses all in the description below this video. Give me that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button, as I just did an hour commercial free. This is the live commercial right now. And so give me that like, share, subscribe, notification. It helps. Every little bit helps, and money helps even more. I appreciate all of the subscribers, all of the patrons to the store, but we must continue forward here as the inflation shows no signs of stopping, regardless of lies that the government tells you it's all under control. Okay. And with that, well, let me play you a quick commercial message from Abba Zaba Enterprises, and we'll be back with the second half of Weaponized News.
Running a small business feeling overwhelmed by numbers and paperwork? Abba Zaba Enterprises has your back. Our expert business solutions include accounting, QuickBooks support, payroll, taxes, and top-notch consulting. Let us handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. Business Solutions Accounting, QuickBooks, Consulting, Payroll, Taxes. Call 559-577-9250. Call Abba Zaba Enterprises today at 559-577-9250 for stress-free solutions.
And welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday, January 8th, 2026 edition. On to the second half of Weaponized News here. Here's one from Trump, i.e. technocracy. Let's take a look at this post. I just finished a great meeting with the very successful Intel CEO, Tan. Intel just launched the first sub-2 nanometer CPU processor, designed, built, packaged right here in the USA. The United States government is proud to be a shareholder of Intel. Well, hell, if a Democrat did this, they'd be screaming socialism, communism. But MAGA loves it because it's technocracy. So I guess everything is just dandy here now with the U.S. government being a shareholder of Intel, and has already made, through its USA ownership position, tens of billions of dollars for the American people in just 4 months. Oh yeah, I got that check. Didn't you guys get that? Oh, you didn't get the dividend check from the feds for our stake in Intel? Oh, they use that money to build further surveillance systems against us. Oh, I see. Well, at least we didn't have to pay tax. Oh, we have to pay taxes on the surveillance systems they're building to enslave us? Oh, well, that's making America great. Continuing here, we made a great deal, and so did Intel. Well, isn't that good of them, using our tax money to go ahead and make Intel a bunch of money? Our country is determined to bring leading edge chip manufacturing back to America, and that is exactly what is happening. Yeah, we love the technocracy, don't we? Continuing here, in a cryptic message from Deputy Secretary Jim O'Neill, Mr. Technocracy, They're all tying in together. It all ties together here now, you see. Former Peter Thiel, hedge fund manager, now interim director, I guess acting director of the CDC and deputy health secretary at HHS, Jim O'Neill, put out this cryptic tweet, or X post, I guess it'd be known now as, the enemy's gate is down. What does this mean coming out? Like, really? We're doing Q riddles again from public health now? I guess so. The enemy's gate is down. Who knows what that means? Cryptic tweet from the CDC there. Maybe it's in regards to flipping the food pyramid upside down yesterday. Let's see here. More out of public health a little bit. Next fall, medical students and residents will finally be taught the core basis of health, which is nutrition. It's also painful, isn't it? Here is Jim O'Neill from yesterday's announcement on the inverted new food pyramid.
Thanks to them, starting next fall, when parents drop their kids off at school, they will know that the right side up pyramid will be hanging in the classroom. And that was just the beginning. Last summer, we started meeting with medical schools and residency programs and accreditors. And we've had very good conversations with them. And because of that, next fall, medical students and residents will finally be taught the core basis of health, which is nutrition. Thanks to them,
Don't be fooled by this guy. He looks like, a mild-mannered, nerdy dude. This guy, Jim O'Neill's a hardcore killer. Okay, so don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by Jim O'Neill's nerdy persona here now that he's putting forward. You see, don't be fooled by Jim O'Neill. But I do agree with him. Oh yeah, the experts now are going to know something about nutrition. Well, here's Bobby Kennedy Jr. claiming that, because the whole thing is their whole campaign is to rebuild public trust in public health after the whole bat debacle. Let's hear from Bobby Kennedy Jr. He says today the lies stop. Really? So they've been lying this entire time, but trust the government now. I'm having a hard time with it.
The dietary guidelines rest on 3 pillars: protein, healthy fats, vegetables and fruits, and whole grains. These guidelines replace the corporate-driven assumptions with common sense, gold standard scientific integrity. These new guidelines will revolutionize our nation's food culture and make America healthy again. For decades, Americans have grown sicker while healthcare costs have soared. The reason is clear. Our government has been lying to us to protect corporate profit-taking, telling us that these food-like substances were beneficial to our health. Federal policy promoted and subsidized highly processed food and refined carbohydrates and turned a blind eye to the cataclysmic consequences. Today, the lies stop. The new guidelines recognize that whole, nutrient-dense food is the most effective path to better health and to lowering healthcare costs. Protein and healthy fats are essential today, and today we end the 65-year-old war on saturated fats. Diets rich in vegetables and fruit reduce the risk of disease much more effectively than medical interventions or pharmaceutical interventions. Whole grains outperform refined carbohydrates. Added sugar, especially sugar-sweetened beverages, drive metabolic disease epidemic in our country. And today our government declares war on added sugar. Highly processed foods.
We're declaring war on everything. We reported on that yesterday. So the war on saturated fats is over. Now the war on sugar. And again, left out of all this is the pesticide issue, the GMO issue. That's left out of all. I don't hear any of that. So stick whatever fruit and vegetable wherever, if it's soaked in pesticide, what you might as well eat a freaking spoonful of sugar for your health. Okay, on to geopolitical news here now today. What do they say? Jan says ICE equals IDF. Yeah, or redcoats, whatever imperial force you want to call them. They're starting to really resemble an imperial force here now. That I thought was unconstitutional to have troops on the streets. Spam. What the hell? It's all for your own public safety, right? Right. Debanking soars to record high over there in the free European zone in the EU. And so 500,000 accounts closed on EU's financial rules. And I hate when they do this. They put it behind the paywall. I was going to read a little bit more for you here. And anyway, it's behind the paywall and I didn't break it, but they're debanking 500,000 people there in Europe. You can expect the same here. They won't call it central bank digital currency. It'll have another name. But hey, step out of line. I guess we've escalated. They'll just shoot you in the face. Forget debanking. No, they'll probably still debank you first here now. But hey, the government's not weaponized against you anymore until you step out of line with what the feds say. Oh, man. So it's being rumored. I guess it's true because they backhandedly rebut it, but don't fully rebut it. I guess old, ex-rogue from X-Men, Tulsi Gabbard, head of Director of National Intelligence. I guess she wasn't included in the Maduro raid planning. The White House excluded the top spy chief in America, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, from planning the Maduro raid. And so it appears like she was not involved in this. And then the reply from the White House to this reporting is that they don't directly, debunk this claim. They say President Trump's peace through strength foreign policy is a tried and true approach that keeps America safe and detours global threats. Efforts by the legacy media to sow internal division are a distraction that will not work. And that's in reply to Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard not being part of the Maduro raid. Venezuela now, their Interior, Justice, and Peace Minister today confirmed 100 people there in Venezuela were killed during the U.S. kidnapping of Maduro. So, and what was it? 38 or something Cubans yesterday, the Cuban government said, that were part of Maduro's regime that are killed. So up to 100. And I did see that report. I saw Kerry post something about it, and I did see that report. One 80-year-old woman, civilian, was killed in the Maduro raid as well, tragically enough. Trump says the Venezuela war powers resolution vote greatly hampers American self-defense and national security, impeding the president's authority as commander-in-chief, and the War Powers Act is unconstitutional. Again, the irony, the hypocrisy. But you don't follow the Constitution. You don't follow the made-up War Powers Act. You're acting like an imperial dictator. Venezuela actively cooperating with U.S. on plans to export 30 to 50 million barrels of sanctioned oil, according to a report out of the Financial Times, right? And it is, again, the silver or the lead, you see, because this is gangsters for capitalism, you see. So I guess we could appreciate at least the transparency of the Trump administration, even though it's illegal, unconstitutional, blah, 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 all that, like they give a damn about any of it. Now we're naked gangsters. Same thing Smedley Butler said 100 years ago, right? Now they're just openly saying it. Hey, we got the big gun. What are you going to do? I don't know. We'll get to Russia here in a second. Russia allegedly is launching their hypersonic Orezhnik missiles in Ukraine. That's not looking good. But more here on, and look, okay, the War Powers Act is fundamentally fake and unconstitutional. Wasn't that the excuse for every war since World War II? Here's Mr. Technocracy VP Vance.
Technicality than any disagreement in policy. If you look at the people who actually voted, every single one of them have supported the administration's plan. Second of all, as the president, I believe himself has already said, every president, Democrat or Republican, believes the War Powers Act is fundamentally a fake and unconstitutional law. It's not going to change anything about how we conduct foreign policy over the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, and that'll continue to be how we approach things. Go ahead. Technicality than any disagreement.
What? So now we care about the Constitution? This is so ridiculous. So yeah, U.S. Senate is acting like they care, and there's checks and balances in our government. Who knew? Who knew? U.S. Senate passes Venezuela War Powers Resolution 52-47, backing limits to block Trump from further Venezuela military action without congressional authorization. Oh, we do have a Congress. Who knew? Who knew? Here's the vote from earlier today.
The yeas are 52. The nays are 47. The motion is agreed to. The joint resolution will be placed on the calendar.
Trying to act like there's some checks and balances in the government? And what was Trump's reply to this? Well, he's an imperial dictator, you see, who cares much about the U.S. Constitution. This was his reply. Trump said Republicans should be ashamed of the senators that just voted with Democrats in attempting to take away our powers to fight and defend the United States of America. And he names them here. Of course, they don't give a damn about the Constitution and rule of law, any of this nonsense that they drone on about. It's all political for them as well. This vote greatly hampers American self-defense and national security. Isn't it hampering our national security to have an imperial dictator just bombing the hell out of whoever, whenever? I think that is kind of hampering our national security as well. Impeding the president's authority as commander-in-chief in any event. And despite their stupidity, the War Powers Act is unconstitutional. Totally violating, he's not wrong, totally violating Article 2 of the Constitution, as all presidents and their departments of justice have determined before me. Nevertheless, a more important Senate vote will be taking place next week on this very subject. They're so full of shit, it hurts. But that's where we're at. Venezuelan acting president Delcy Rodriguez met with China's ambassador. It's kind of a risky move, because didn't Maduro meet with China? He met with their foreign minister, right? And then, like, what, a couple hours later, got kidnapped. So I don't know, man. I don't know how. It's pretty risky to be meeting up with China there in Venezuela, just saying, but she did. Reported earlier today. More on the imperial presidency for technocracy. Trump considers paying Greenlanders $10,000 to $100,000 per person to join the United States and support secession from Denmark, according to a report out of Reuters. And where's Russia with all this? Well, Russia warns that the deployment of military units and facilities of Western countries on the territory of Ukraine will be classified as foreign intervention. Upon the reporting yesterday, the coalition, the Willing meeting, where Germany said they'll be the freaking army for Ukraine, and France and UK said they're going to station boots on the ground in Ukraine for, quote, security purposes only, and not to provoke Russia and Putin in any way, of course. And so, of course, Russia has said they will see that as an act of aggression, which is what led to the whole unprovoked thing, or part of what led to it was, we can't even go into it. Well, Russia's bombing the hell out of Ukraine. U.S. Embassy in Kiev, issues a security alert warning of a potentially significant air attack that may occur at any time over the next several days. I think it's happening right now. That was earlier today. And here's said attack. Russian drones are attacking residential buildings in Kiev. That's over the last 24 hours here now. And allegedly, they're launching Orezhniks. I don't know. Here's video of the hypersonic missile that there's no defense against. I don't know. I didn't see 100% confirmation. Let's take a look at the video. Maybe it is the hypersonic Orezhnik out of Russia. I don't know, something big, right? You can see it in the background there. Something big hit. The Syrian army announces a new military operation against Kurdish majority neighborhoods. And so they're still fighting in Syria. Trump said U.S. will strike Iran very hard. I guess that's the theme of the day, is irony and hypocrisy, and make them pay if they kill any protesters, as U.S. federal agents kill protesters in America. Let's hear again with neocon piece of garbage here, Hugh Hewitt, earlier today. Here's Trump.
So this is a quote. If President Trump brings down the Islamic Republic of Iran, he will cement his place as the greatest foreign policy president since Ronald Reagan. I think it would actually.
I thought I already did that.
I was just about to add. With Midnight Hammer, you did that.
How much more can I do? You know, we just had Venezuela. We just had Midnight Hammer.
Yeah.
We settled 8 wars.
8 and a quarter.
But I'm willing to accept that.
Yeah.
I'm willing to accept it.
What about Iran? Is the aim with Iran the collapse of that awful 47-year tyranny?
Well, I don't want to say it, but I will tell you they're not doing well. As you know, probably better than anybody. They're doing very poorly. And I have let them know that if they start killing people, which they tend to do during their riots, they have lots of riots, if they do it, we're going to hit them very hard.
Now, dozens have been killed. I know you don't do red lines, but have you communicated to them what that limit of your patience is?
Well, some have been killed by, problems of crowd control and other things. And we're watching it very closely. The crowds are so large, there's been a stampede.
We're back to police of the world. It's somehow America's responsibility if Iran kills its own citizens that are protesting their tyrannical government, as our own government kills our protesters here. So yeah, the theme of today is irony and hypocrisy at the height. And somebody else caught it in there. I think it was Snake Plissken. Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly divide and conquer balkanization set up by the government, obviously, to keep us fighting amongst each other while they're robbing us blind. And if you don't do what the feds say, they'll kill you. They're just explicitly stating it now. It's always been the case. So maybe we should at least appreciate the, quote, transparency, or they're saying the quiet part out loud now. And so there's a bunch of video. Let's see. I got a lot of clips here out of Iran. Here's one that shows pretty fair amount of people, a couple thousand here now, maybe a couple hundred. I don't know. But there is mass civil unrest in Iran right now. Okay, so where are we at with this? That was Tehran, the capital. That was non-violent protesters, while other protests are violent, armed rioters and separatists continue to cause havoc around Iran tonight. Here's Iran on fire. BBC Persia shares a video showing a building belonging to Iran's state broadcaster, IRIB, on fire. And again, remember Pompeo told us Mossad's right there. And I wouldn't doubt a CIA's right there too. He left that part out. Fomenting the unrest in Iran. And I don't doubt there's organic dissent against their tyrannical government as well. But make no mistake, it's being helped along very nicely by Western intelligence. Here's said video of Iran broadcasting on fire.
این صدا سیماس میبینین آتیشش زدن ایول
And so when are we going to bomb Iran again? Anytime. Possibly. Iran cut the internet. After Iran moved to cut internet access amid ongoing unrest, it's been alleged now here, being reported by Aardvark Land's Channel 14, that Elon Musk enabled free Starlink access, so free internet access through Starlink for protesters. So good old Elon Musk is helping do his part in Iran regime change for the technocracy. Oh, he just cares about the people's freedom, though. Oh, okay. Well, it's totally legitimate then. Thank you, Mr. Musk, for that. U.S. bans TikTok, then hands it over to Zionist billionaire Larry Ellison. U.S. sanctions Citgo, that's the Venezuelan state-owned oil company, into bankruptcy, then hands it over to Zionist billionaire Paul Singer. Next up, U.S. seizes Greenland, then hands it over to Zionist billionaire Ron Lauder. Trump ally who inspired Greenland purchase idea quietly invest in Greenlandic companies. If I didn't know any better, I would say there's a conspiracy afoot here, but we know it's all just a coincidence and goodwill, and there are betters, and so it's all well-deserved. And there's no insider knowledge, forehand knowledge of anything. I'm sure Mr. Ron Lauder is just one of these Nancy Pelosi type genius investors that happened to luck into the whole thing. Right. No one's profiteering off our national security policy. Would they be? Here's Megyn Kelly. And I think both these are CIA actors, but this is some propaganda. She says her and Tucker, I think, are CIA actors working for the Mockingbird Media. But here's a clip between these two. Megyn Kelly says the media is controlled by people who refuse to tell the truth about aardvark land. Oh, you don't say. You don't say. Almost like she's talking about some type of conspiracy here now.
Now, Tucker, have I begun to say, like, wait a minute. How much of the narrative that is in our news today has been spoon-fed to me by people who are super pro-Israel at all costs, who won't tell the truth about Israel, no matter what it is, and will cancel you if you don't befriend or defriend people who do. And so this whole thing has made me reevaluate. Like, I'm just starting from square one, basically, on Israel right now. And I'm actually day by day taking a much harder look at.
These people are fake, and if I don't even believe anything they say, right? But if what we're saying, if we take them at face value, they're being honest, then they're idiots, right? I mean, so come on, man. How long have these people been in the game? Megyn Kelly and Tucker? I'm just barely learning about it. Where you been, bro, bra, chick? Pretty damn disingenuous, if you ask me. But hey, first time in 3,000 years we have peace in the Middle East. We're working on phase 2 of the ceasefire. Well, actually, we haven't got to phase 1 of the ceasefire there in Gaza as the genocide continues. 14 Palestinians announced killed by the Aardvark army today. Among them, 5 children. So, yeah, they're stacking bodies. The genocide continues. Here's the comparison by our shadow president here, Mr. Bibi Netanyahu, where he is being interviewed by Dr. Phil, where he says, well, we'll play the clip. The ratio is 1,000, so it's 40 to 1. Aardvarks to Americans, according to Bibi here, is the ratio. I believe we calculated the ratio for, so he's rating us even below Palestinians. Think of that, Americans. Wave your Star of David there for him. Here's the clip. I think Palestinians, it was like 1 to 34, 1 to 33. No, it's 34 because I remember, or 32. It was like 32 point something. I was like, wouldn't it have been great if it was 33? But here it's 40 to 1 for Americans. So thankfully, our shadow president Bibi thinks of you lower than Palestinians. The value of your life, Americans. Support them at all costs. Don't be anti-Semitic.
In fact, what happened on October 7th when over 1,000 people were massacred in one fell swoop? That's equivalent to about 40,000 Americans massacred. You can imagine what would happen.
And he agrees. Oh, so you're saying that the ratio of value of life is 40 to 1 between aardvarks and Americans? Well, I agree. Thank you very much. Dr. Phil, the TV psychologist interviewing a genocidal maniac. Oh, no, that's not how they framed this interview at all, but that's actually how they should have framed it. Here's the introduction where Dr. Phil says aardvarks are the real victims of the Gaza genocide. I can see that. He's not all wrong. He's not all wrong, but the real victims are all those, it's aardvarks as per usual, right?
I'm really interested in how he looks at this because this has been one of the longest wars they faced, and the cost has been really high politically, humanitarian-wise, and has taken a tremendous toll on him and the Israeli people, both domestically and internationally.
But it's not a war, it's a genocide. So, and we've been reporting, yeah, they're having a bunch of suicides in their armed forces. The mental health is down. That's what happens when you commit genocide. It's horrific. You think they give a damn about their own aardvarks? No. No, they don't. Here you go. Support Trump and aardvark land. See, I knew all this before, but now you get to know it too.
And we're a lot stronger. Israel emerged from this stronger than ever. And I can tell you that it's not only strong militarily. After 2 years of war, our economy has just been rated one of the 3 top economies in the world. Yeah. Our stock market went up more than any other stock market on the planet, I think. 50% in 1 year. By the way, you should invest in Israel. NVIDIA just opened up a huge plant there. I made a gas deal with our Arab neighbor, Egypt, for $37 billion. The people of Israel are strong. They're strong economically. They're strong militarily. They're strong spiritually. And they know that we have a great friend in the United States of America, and the greatest friend that Israel ever had in the White House, by a long shot, President Donald J. Trump.
Well, he stands with you, as do I. And
right there, truly just over the top, man. Netanyahu says the Gaza population needs to be de-radicalized like Germany after World War II. Yeah, that's not going to happen as they continue to kill Palestinians. And so I really don't see how that's going to happen. There's been no ceasefire. Yeah, Trump caused, what does he say, 8 pieces? He bombed, in 2025, bombed Iraq, Syria, Iran, Somalia, Yemen, Nigeria. We're in proxy war with Russia. We're in a proxy war with alleged terrorists that are creations of Western intelligence, Hamas, Hezbollah. Or in a proxy war with Iran. And so he is the great president of peace, you see. We've done the raid on Venezuela. We've done the extrajudicial assassinations of alleged narco-trafficking drug boats on both sides here, right? Both sides on the Atlantic and the Pacific side. Killing, I lost track. We're up to like almost 100 dead fishermen, alleged narco drug traffickers. We've seen no evidence. Trust the lying government. They just got done lying about Maduro being the head of the cartel of the sun, which doesn't even exist, which is a CIA creation. But hey, trust them. They're going to investigate all the wrongdoings and we'll get justice. So yeah, they're fomenting unrest here domestically and around the world. Be vigilant. Don't listen to these politicians. Don't let them set you up to be a dupe patsy. They don't give a damn about you, man. It's all a game for them. It's all political. Don't let them throw you in the meat grinder. We'll come back tomorrow with more details on the 2 shot there in Portland. And it only feels like it's going to escalate from here now. So be vigilant out there. Don't trust the government. That's for damn sure. Let's go to the channels now. That's all the reporting I have for today. Gurr and Highland over there. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in on the X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Rumble, and YouTube. I'm seeing some comments. Let me circle back to some of the comments here. Jan, Silver, Karen, thank you guys for chatting it up over there. Our clownmermints, Karen says, our clownmermints have checks and unrecognized balances. I help fix their message for them. And unlimited checks. Yeah. But now we care about the Constitution again. Until we don't. What does Deaf Tears say over there, Mac, on the YouTube? The evil of 12-day war and spontaneous abduction let a kiddie side drag on years. Man. Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. As always, do your own research. Peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening. And we'll be back here on Friday for more Weaponized News.